companies actively producing containers that are BPA free, we're starting to see that happening more and more, because in a company's eyes, it is better to produce something before there's legislation passed and they can make themselves look good than it is to wait until there's a mandate and they have to comply at a higher cost. From a company standpoint, there is an organic food company that I know of that's been producing BPA-free cans for years, because as parents, the CEOs didn't feel comfortable releasing known toxins into the environment and into the food supply that their children are then ingesting.
Wow. So they have a moral standing.
There is a moral standing, and I think we can anticipate seeing more companies kind of moving in that direction. You know, a year ago, no one knew about BPA, and now there's legislation being passed in this country. Canada's banned it. You know, it's becoming a big issue that people are starting to talk about amongst themselves.
I heard that years ago, China doesn't use BPA in their products for their people, but they put it in the stuff that they manufacture and send.
Because Americans will buy it.
Because Americans are buying it. Maybe they're a little bit smarter that they don't want to be exposing their people to it.
Well, it's really, you know, it's not a pleasant thought when you say, oh, you know, I need to have a coffee, like I'm half asleep, I'm going to fall asleep on the road to work if I don't stop off for a cup of coffee. Yeah, well,
I drive my family crazy, because if I go into a deli and they don't have paper cups, the first thing I'll do is ask, do you have paper cups? And if they do, I'll still buy the coffee, but if they don't, I leave. And I have to, because I just can't drink it out of the styrofoam. I'm just a little, I just don't want to do that.
It's like it crunches. Tactily, you want to enjoy your morning coffee.
Yeah, not worry about every sip is,
not worry about it crunching when it hits your teeth. It's a little scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, Anjelica. What made you want to research this obscure chemical that's surrounding us, it seems?
It was an obscure chemical that no one had ever heard of. And I mean, my younger sister is 10 years old, and in elementary school, when she was 8, 9 years old, she had friends that were developing already. And, you know, my mom, who is...
Like developing as young women when they were 10 years old?
When they were younger than 10.
Wow.
And my mom is a major organic believer, and she's raised us. We used to only have organic junk food in the house.
Organic junk food.
Non-GMO organic junk food. And she said, you know, I think it's the hormones in the milk. And then I was reading about it one day and kind of said, well, there's this chemical in the linings of cans that acts like an estrogen in the body.
So you just came across it. Wow.
And it acts like an estrogen in the body, which is the good news and the bad news. That's the cause of the cancers and the endocrine system going haywire. And it actually structurally resembles the estrogen that's used in birth control pills, which explains the infertility. Is
there anything people can do other than, you know, choosing as consumers what to buy and what not to buy? Are there any, you know, proposed legislation to, you know, or is it just starting to come around? Suffolk
County has been on the cutting edge in terms of
a lot of legislation.
In terms of a lot of legislation, in terms of BPA as well. Major companies, such as Toys R Us, I know, are now actively pledging to remove the poison plastics from the toys that they're selling to children in the stores.
Kind of like lead, BPA.
Lead, BPA, phthalates.
Wow.
So the thing that we need to do is, as consumers, we all need to get smart. We're all going to encounter situations where we can't bring our own containers, or, you know, we have to eat something from a can, or, you know, things like that. The key things that we need to do are minimize our exposure points and get smart, because the only thing that's going to prevent things like this from happening and continuing to happen is, you know, the consumer having an active role in saying, we don't want this. You know, this is what this does, because we need to look out for ourselves. The companies aren't going to do it.
Definitely true. Well, we're running out of time. And thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
This is some great stuff. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of information. And if anyone has any comments or questions on today's show or any other environmental problems or solutions that you might want to see discussed, please send me an email to keepinitgreen@optimalmind.net. And
we're keeping it green.
Are you keeping it green?
I'm keeping it green.
I'm keeping it green.
Thanks, Deb.
Thanks, Angelica.